In the previous two videos, I showed you how to install the Avada theme to WordPress, and then we walked through all the different theme option settings of how to customize different features within your Avada theme. So in this video, we're going to actually get into a tutorial showing you how to design a web page and begin building out your website. So as you can see here, I am on my home page, freeblogtrainingvideos.com. And up here is my header, which has no content, no logo, no menu, nothing. And then my page starts about here, and it's just got the default text that Avada and WordPress put into my home page to start. So we're going to begin customizing this whole page from scratch. So first, let's start with the header by inserting a logo and a menu. So come back into the dashboard, and down here under Appearance, you're going to find Menus. So when you click Menus, you're going to need to set up a brand new menu. So click Create New Menu, give it a menu name. So I called this first one Menu 1. And then you're going to be able to add the different pages. So I'll select all 5 of these pages that I've started, and we'll add them to Menu. Now, so far, I've just created these blank pages by giving them the title and hitting Publish. So none of these pages actually have content on them yet. We're going to be customizing each individual page coming up. So for now, we've inserted these, and then you can drag them around to the position you want. So I want the home to show first, then about, and then start here, and then we'll put contact us last and blog. And then to change any of the words or text that it shows up on the menu, you can change it by making this drop down and change the navigation label. So I can delete out that to make it just say home, about, start here, blog, contact us. Now scroll down here to the menu settings where it says display location, check main navigation, hit save menu. Now that's going to insert the menu into the header. Now we also want to customize the font. So I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like when we refresh the page. Now it's going to insert it up at top. So we've got all these different pages now, and the font's really big and it's green and black. So you can customize everything by going back into your Avada theme options, and there's going to be the tab called Menu, where you're going to be able to customize what font type, what size, what color. So hover over the menu tab and go to main menu. Now your menu height, we're going to leave at 84 currently. We can adjust that later. We want it to be the bar style, so it's going to be the bar running across the top of the page here. And then highlight bar size we'll take down to a 2. Menu item padding, this is the space in between each of the words, so it's set at 45 right now. We'll go ahead and leave that as is. Drop down shadow for menu drop downs, we'll go ahead and leave that on. Drop down width, so if you're going to have a drop down menu where there's different tabs, then you can customize these settings. But for now, let's focus on the font. So let's come down to main menu typography, and we've got it set to Carla. And that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and just change the font down to about size 17. We'll hit save changes and see how it looks now that we've shrunk the font a little bit. Alright, so now it's gotten a little bit smaller and it looks good, so that's good. Now the hover color and the highlight color, how it's turning light green, that's because your theme is going to come in default a scheme of like a green and white for Avada. So in order to change that, there should be a color down here, main menu font hover color. So if I want my theme to be kind of like a bluish theme, I'm going to come over here to the blue. And then we want the main menu font color to be black and the drop down color to be black as well. So we'll go ahead and hit save changes, and that's going to update the hover color now. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the menu. I've got my pages inserted. I've got the text, the font and size that I want, and the color. Now we're going to add a logo over here. So come into the settings where it says logo and go to default logo, click upload. Now I've already pre-created a logo, so I'm just going to go to my downloads folder where I have my logo that I made, and I'm going to be able to upload it. Now for creating a logo, you can either hire somebody to do it on Fiverr.com for $5, or you can create your own in photo editing apps. So I use Canva.com to build my logos, and a lot of bloggers use Canva to do image design. So let's go ahead and insert the logo and see what it looks like. I made it 275 pixels wide and 60 pixels tall, and we might have to crop it and play around with it to see what it looks like. And then we've also got logo margins, so from the top and bottom there's going to be 31 pixels of space, so we'll leave that as is so you can see what that's going to be, but I'm probably going to shrink it down to like 10 pixels or 5 pixels. So let's go back here and refresh the page again so we can see the logo and what it looks like, and we'll go make adjustments in theme settings. Alright, so now the page refreshed, we can see that my logo fit in pretty nicely. Now the margin between the top of the page and the logo, and then there's some margin below the logo, so that's what the logo margin is here. So I want to go ahead and send this down to 11 pixels. We'll take it down 20 pixels each, hit save changes, and take a look to see what that looks like, with the goal here being getting the logo kind of in line with the menu text. So we'll hit refresh and see how this looks. So that looks a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and leave that as is. If you take your arrow and kind of draw a line straight across, it kind of dissects the logo right in the middle, which is what we want. So that looks good to me. So now we've got our logo and we've got our menu text. Now if I want to move my logo more to the left or more to the right, closer to all the menu tabs, you can do that by adjusting these, the left and the right pixels. But for now, I'm going to leave this how it is. So now we've got the logo header set up. So let's begin customizing the home page. So out here on the home page, I can see the edit page button. So I'll open that in a new tab so that we can keep coming back looking at the page as we make updates. So we installed Avada earlier, and the first two plugins we installed was the Fusion Builder and the Fusion Core plugin. So the Fusion Builder is going to pop up a button here now on every page. So this is the button we're going to want to use to design our web pages. For blog posts, we typically won't use this. We'll just come down here to the text box and start typing out our blog post. But for actual pages, I want columns where I can choose, how my layout of my web page is. So when you click that, it's going to open up the Fusion Builder. And you're going to see a container. So a container is basically, it houses, these different size columns. So you can create multiple containers going down the page. So this container could have this full width column, and then I can create a new container that has, half columns or third columns. So if you want to break your web page up into 1/3, so maybe the first third, is an image or a blog post, and then the middle third might be another image or blog post, and then the other third over here to the right would be, another image or blog post. So you would do that in here by creating different columns, and then, to start a new container, you just click the new container button. And then to change the size, so let's say I don't want the full size 1/1, you can click this and you can pick any size container. So I could pick, 1/2 and 1/2, which is what I'm going to do to start. So I've got the 1/2, and then you can edit it via the edit button here, this little brush. Same with the container. Here's the little brush symbol for editing. Then this little paper symbol with a plus sign, it means copy. Same up here, the little copy sign, and then you've got the trash sign and the trash sign to get rid of a column or a container. So I'm going to go ahead and clone this. So now I've got two half columns, and I'm going to delete out this text box, and I'm going to go ahead and delete out this text box. So we've got the basic container. I've decided I want my web page split into two columns at the top, and then I'm going to go ahead and add another container below. So this would be, maybe where I actually start my web page, and then at the top here I want to create kind of like a header that has like an email opt-in button. So I'm going to first come into the container settings, and I'm going to give the container a background. So I'm going to upload an image here, and in my media library I've already uploaded my background where it's me pointing up to the right corner, and that's going to be where I put, my little opt-in button. So hit insert into page, and then you're going to be able to save changes. But if you want to reposition the background, you can do so here. It's center right now, so it'll center it, height wise and width wise. So we're going to leave that as is. Oh, and one other thing, I want to adjust the padding underneath the image so that it kind of spans it down more. So before I do that, I'll go ahead and update it so I can show you what I'm talking about, because you're probably a little bit lost right now. So as you can see in a minute, when we refresh this page here, you're going to be able to see the menu officially. It's going to be separated because it's going to offset with the blue container background that I just uploaded. And then you're going to see my body cut off. So right now, actually, it didn't even show up at all. So this is what I'm talking about. You have to actually add elements into the container to make the background show up. So we're going to go ahead and start adding in the elements so that you can see. So come to element, and we're going to want 2 text boxes and a button. So there's text box number 1. We'll go ahead and say sign up for free video tutorials. And then I'm going to make this a title, so we're going to give it a heading 1, and we're going to center it, click save, go back to element, and now I'm going to actually write out a description of what they're getting when they click the download button. So I'll say want, if you'd like to receive weekly training videos on building a blog, growing an audience, and making money from your blog, then click the button to sign up for my newsletter, where I'll send my best videos to your inbox each week. So that's our little descriptive text. We'll center that, click save, and then lastly we need to click the button. We need to make the button. So here's a button element. So you can click that and then give it a URL. So freetrainingvideos.com/newsletter. I'm going to go ahead and make a newsletter page. So free training videos, freeblogtrainingvideos.com. So that's my website /newsletter, and that's going to direct it to the newsletter page. We'll say get started as our button text, so that's what the button's going to say. We're going to make it open up in a new tab by clicking the blank code instead of the self code where it would open up on the same page. We want it to open a new tab. We want to center the button, and that should be everything. On the general tab, go to design, and we want a custom. Now the top half and the bottom half of the button color we want to be the same. So I'm going to come back here and find one of those lighter blue shades. I'm going to go ahead and copy this code so that I can make sure it's the exact same for the bottom half of the button color. So we'll just paste it in here, and it automatically does it. Now when somebody hovers the button, we want it to be that blue, but I'm going to actually darken it so that it changes to a darker color so that they notice it when they hover it. So we'll change the bottom half to the darker color. So now the hover set up, accent color, this is what color the text is. So we want it to be white. So we'll click white. Alright, and then the button type, we want it to be a flat button, or it could be 3D. I'm not going to give my button a border. I'm going to make my button extra large. Button span, do you want it to span the width of the column or the container? We want to say no. And I'm going to make mine a square shape instead of a rounded button. And then if you want to add an icon before the text gets started, you can do so, but I'm going to leave it off. So click save, and then we're going to click update so that you can see how this looks now. And then my background's actually going to start showing up for the column because I've got elements now on the page. So then once that updates, I'm going to show you how it cuts my body off, and we're going to need to make it a little bit taller. Alright, you're going to notice too there's space here, there's space on the side, and space on this side. So if I want this to span the full width, I'm going to need to come back in here to the page attributes, and under template it says 100% width, so I'll click that. And then to get rid of the space between where my page starts and the menu, this was that page padding that I talked about in the theme options in the previous video. So you can edit that on each individual page by scrolling down to the bottom. Under page, it says page content. Here's the default 55 pixels and 40 pixels. I want to get rid of it, so I'm going to say 0, 0. And we'll go back up here, click update so that all these changes take effect. And now this space will disappear because we made it full width. This space will disappear, and this space will disappear because we got rid of the page padding. So it's going to look a lot nicer. There we go. And then now if I want to give a little bit of padding so that the button's not sitting right on the edge here, we can give some padding to the column. So go back to the column edit setting, or the container edit settings, to design, and under the design tab is where you're going to find margin if you want to shrink and give some margin, or padding kind of adds space to the end of the container. So I'll add another 100 pixels. We'll click save and see what that looks like. And it should create some blue space after the button before it gets on to the next part of the web page. So we'll go ahead and click refresh and you'll get to see what that looks like. But overall, this looks good. To start, we've got, our text up here, our title saying sign up for free video tutorials. And then it says if you'd like to receive weekly training videos, and then we've got our button. So in order to get this all on one line and to get it a little bit closer to my picture of me, I'm going to go ahead and change from the 1/2 column size. So here, this is 1/2 and 1/2. I'm actually going to make this 2/5, and we're going to increase this to 3/5 so that it makes it a little bit bigger. And then since there's a little too much space, I think 100 pixels might have been too much space given it. So we might change that in a minute once we see what this looks like. So click refresh again to see how this takes effect. So it kind of spread everything out and it kind of shortened it up a little bit. So there's a little too much space above my head here and a little space here. So I want to kind of size this a little better. So I'll come back into the design for the container settings and we'll cut this in half down to 50 pixels. And click update. So as you can see, you've got to go back and forth between the web page and the back end settings to keep testing out different sizes if you're customizing your own design. Otherwise, you can just use, one of the Avada theme templates. So this looks a lot better for now. I might actually give it a little bit of space from the top. So if we do 30 pixels from the top, and then that should give my image a little bit more, because I don't quite like how it's cutting off right here on my arms. So if we size this down from the top, it should spread out my picture a little bit better. So we'll have to retest this again and see what it looks like. Alright, so this is as good as it's going to get for now. We'll go ahead and leave this. So I made my top section here. When somebody first comes to my home page, they're going to see a chance to sign up for free video tutorials. They can click the button. It's going to take them to my newsletter page. So if you come here to the new tab, you can click new page and it'll open up a brand new page. So if you decide of pages you want to create while you're designing your website, like in my case, I thought of a newsletter page. So I can come here and click publish, and now I've got a newsletter page. And the link is freeblogtrainingvideos.com/newsletter. So that's the correct link that we inserted earlier for our button. So when you hover over the button down in the left-hand corner of your web screen, you can see the link pop up and it says freeblogtrainingvideos.com/newsletter. So that works, and then you can go ahead and test the button by clicking it and it will take you to your newsletter page. But for now, we don't need that anymore. So we've customized this top part. Now for the next part of my web page, when somebody comes to the home page, for now I might just insert blog posts so they can either opt into my email newsletter or they keep scrolling and they see all my blog posts. So for this, I typically like to use the 2/3 width, and then we'll add in 2 more columns. So I need 1/6 columns to fill out the rest of the page. So let's go ahead and just find the template that I'm talking about. So somewhere you're going to see it says 2/3 and 1/6 on each side. So right here is 1/6, 2/3, 1/6. So that's the style that I want. So it's going to insert that for me. and I can go ahead and delete out the original column that I don't need anymore. So here we go. We got 1/6, 2/3, 1/6. So this gives a little bit of space on each side. So I'm going to use the main middle column here to insert my blog. So you can see the blog button here under Elements. So I'll click that, and it's going to choose the blog layout, which you're going to be able to check each of these out, see what they look like. I'm going to start with medium, and I want 6 posts on my home page. And then if you want specific category blog posts or to exclude, but for right now I don't have any blog posts, so I don't need to exclude or pick out categories. Order by date, so it's going to show the most recent post at the top, and then it's going to descend by what date they're published. If you want it to show the thumbnail image of the blog post, yes. Title, yes. Link to post, yes. Show excerpt, yes. Excerpt length, so the first 35 words of your blog post will show up. And then you can choose some of these other settings. We're going to leave everything as is and click Save. Alright, so go ahead and click Update so that now it inserts the blog posts underneath my main blue header here. So down here you're going to start seeing blog posts. Now I don't have any blog posts, so I'm going to go ahead and create a couple just so you can see kind of what it looks like. So coming into blog posts, we'll say post number 1. Now of course I'm going to go ahead and delete these later, but I just want to show you, what it looks like. So I'm going to come back in here. I've kind of got some text pre-written already for my about page, but I'm going to go ahead and use that same text for the blog post to start, just to fill out the page. So I pasted all that in, and I'll click Publish. Then I'll do the same here, post number 2. Copy paste in that text. So these are obviously not going to stay on my website. These are just to show you what it looks like, and then I'm going to delete them and create brand new blog posts later. So we've got 2 blog posts now. So we'll go ahead and refresh this page, and it should pull those blog posts up into my home page. Alright, so we've got post number 1, post number 2. There's no image because I didn't give them a featured image, so that's something I need to go do. And then you're going to see here that the containers are a little too close to each other. So I'm going to need to come back into my theme options. And underneath this container, we're going to need to give it some padding. So come to design again, and from the top, we're going to give it, we'll say 35 pixels of space. And at the bottom, we'll give it 20 pixels. These are kind of the standard sizes I like to give as far as spacing. And then back to each of these blog posts while that's saving. If you scroll down here, you'll see featured image. So I can come in here and give a featured image. So I don't have any featured images created right now, but I can go ahead and find some random images. So let's say it was a golf blog post. I'll use the Tiger Woods photo as my featured image, and it's going to upload it. It's going to show the image title here, and then if you want to tell Google what the image is about in your alt text, you can type in, Tiger Woods golf photo to kind of help optimize the image for SEO purposes so that people can find your blog through the images on Google Images. So that's for another video when we cover SEO. So I've uploaded the featured image. I'm going to go ahead and click Update, and then I'll refresh this page so that you can see what it will look like once I've inserted an image as a featured image. And then again, we just created some more column space, so this should have some space between the 2 columns. Alright, so as I mentioned, we can scroll down here, and there's some space now that I gave it between this container and the new container we started for our blog post. And then you can see what this looks like when I added a featured image. So this is the style of blog. If you go back to your theme options, we can adjust, right now it's in the medium style layout. If I want to try medium alternate or large alternate, we'll go ahead and try large alternate to see what that looks like. And then we'll come back up here and click Update and check it out. So after changing the blog template style to large alternate, this is what it looks like now. So before, when we did medium, it stuck the image in on the side, and then it had the text over here to the right. But large, it puts the image up top, and then it puts the little description summary of the blog post below it. So I actually like this style for now, so we'll leave it as this style. So overall, this is my home page. We're going to stop this tutorial here after customizing the home page. So what we did was we put a logo in the header. We gave a menu to our header as well, and we changed the color of the hover to match our blue theme. And then we went into edit page for our home page, and we added in this little sign up area at the top of the page here by creating a container, putting a background image into the container of me, and then we added some text blocks and a button block so that we could set up, the way it looks. And then as far as the spacing, we did a 3/5 column here, and we did a 2/5 column here so that we can, make the size and the layout how we want. And then we went ahead and added a second container down below where we made a 1/6 column and a 1/6 column, and then the 2/3 column going down the middle. And we inserted the blog element, and we chose the layout large alternate so that it looks like this. So anytime you publish a new blog post, it will insert it into your home page because we've got the blog element on the home page. And then we've also got a blog page, which I'll open up and see if it's inserting the post here, because it should be. So yes, you can see the layout of this page. It has all of our blog posts that get published comes right to our blog post page as well. So that makes it easy. If somebody clicks on the blog link, they'll come here and it's only blog posts. But I'm probably going to go back and customize the home page some more later, adding some more things to it so that it's not just the blog and just the email sign up. I might add in a couple training videos, maybe underneath between these two containers. I might stick in some videos and then have the blog start showing at the bottom of this page. So I'll mess around with that, and but that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I showed you how to use, the back-end settings, the Fusion Builder. It's just pretty simple. You add new containers that house the columns, and then the columns are what you can add the elements to. So it takes a lot of updating and refreshing to see what everything looks like until you get the design to look good and professional. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more tutorial videos on Avada and how to customize this theme for your website, you can check out kind of the extra resources below of this video course, and you'll find more tutorials for Avada. As I mentioned, not everybody's going to use the Avada theme, but I'm assuming if you're watching these videos that you've taken interest in using the Avada theme for your website, and you can use my tutorials to kind of help guide you and walk you through how to set up the Avada theme template.